Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And I think the competition is behind closed doors heating up more so than we see on the surface as consumers and the public. And the reason I say that is because I'm getting some internal rumors, and I think behind closed doors, all carriers are in war room meetings. There's a constant shift in the industry. There are deals that are being presented to the carriers and that the carriers are trying to create that we don't even see. Some of these deals are dead on arrival. There's a discussion, a Zoom meeting, maybe over the phone, and that deal doesn't even make it to see the day of light. Now, some of these deals and partnerships have come to see the day of light. We saw the YouTube TV partnership, Verizon with Disney, HBO Max buying Time Warner, adding HBO Max. So those are some of the deals, and them adding that to the wireless, At&T adding that to the wireless plan. So those are some of the deals that we've actually seen come to fruition. And there's many behind closed doors, like I said, that don't even see the day of light, and they don't even make the rumor list. Now, another great article by Mike Dano. I'll leave this in the comment section down below so you guys could check it out. The title is Verizon Kicks Off C-Band with a Spending Splurge. Why are they going through such a spending splurge at this time? Was it incompetency during LTE not to purchase more spectrum, or are there other reasons for this? Now, each of the carriers, and this video will be about all three carriers, each of the carriers now have a unique position on what they want to offer in their strategy. T-Mobile and Verizon are more fixated on the fixed wireless now. That seems to be a big play of theirs, using the spectrum assets that they've obtained. AT&T is more fixated on content delivery. Why are they fixated on that? Well, they made a large purchase on Warner Media, $86+ billion. And HBO Max is set to become a huge powerhouse in the media industry. And all customers of AT&T's specifically are benefiting from that. For now, for the time being, yes, you have to get into a higher wireless unlimited to get the HBO Max. Same with fiber and same with the TV offerings. You do get HBO Max included, so that's a value play of theirs. But in the future, even the lower end and prepaid, once the ad version of HBO Max is released, you guys also will benefit from that benefit. Now, is that necessarily AT&T's way to get, claim to fame? Now, I do agree HBO Max is a very important part of their strategy. I know fiber is going to grow. I think fiber is a done deal. Not a done deal that they're over with, but it's going to be successful. It just is. As you expand, this year 3 million homes that they touch. Next year it's projected to be 4 million. Even if they get a certain percentage of those households to join, it's a win. I wouldn't be surprised, my predictions on fiber, that they gain anywhere from 200 to 500,000 ads this in Q1 that they report in a couple of days. I think those numbers increase as they increase the fiber to the house. I really do. I really do think that they push that, and that narrative, I think eventually it will go over well with its investors. I know right now a lot of people are a bit iffy on AT&T stock. It's kind of flatline. It goes up a little, down a little, but I think soon, once they pay down the debt more, which they have plenty of cash flow to do, they have the cash flow now that Verizon and T-Mobile are aspiring to get to. They have it right now. So I think they do make a couple of more tweaks. They add a couple of more value plays into the company and strategically likely offer fixed wireless in semi-rural to rural areas. I think that is coming. But, of course, that's something that they will discuss. That'll come out in the future. I think that is coming. But for now, their main strategy is content delivery, and they're building and boosting the network to run that content smoothly. Now, Verizon and T-Mobile, they are more fixated on fixed wireless. It's going to bring them added revenue and profits. Now, with future network slicing on the 5G core, apparently it's set to make the 5G, the fixed wireless, a better experience. I've stated this many times on my Twitter. I feel that we know that fixed wireless as it stands today cannot match the performance of fiber. It just can't. Fiber can, 10, 20, 30 gigs of fiber pushing through those lines. It's just fixed wireless can't match that. But what I think that fixed wireless can match is a fiber-like experience. And what I mean by that is, if you are a fiber customer and you're sitting in front of your TV and you just want everything to load smoothly, quickly, you're not going to know what speed you're running. Most of the consumers don't run speed tests. So they don't know what speeds they're getting or what latency. They just want it to work. And I think that's what fixed wireless can create if it's done correctly. Am I saying that fiber customers are all of a sudden going to run away from fiber and go to fixed wireless? No, that's likely not a realistic scenario. Some may do it if they're paying a bit more and the customer service is bad. I'm hearing that with Cox Fiber, if you want the fiber and then the unlimited on top of that, you're paying $150. That's a lot of money just to get unlimited, uncapped experience. That's a lot of money. And I think that's where T-Mobile can step in and, T-Mobile and Verizon and step in and say, look, we've done it right. We've got the network slicing. We can give you a fiber-like experience on our fixed wireless. So that way the customer does, yes, there's a drop in speed and performance, but if the customer doesn't notice the difference, that his stuff still loads the same, there's no buffer, then that is what I call a fiber-like experience. Now, long term, there are some questions about Verizon and its C-band holdings and how they present that to the rural community. So recently, some analysts and firms came out and said that Verizon is operating a total of 68,000 sites. Now, that's far below the competition or where T-Mobile is. T-Mobile wants to end up, once it's all said and done with the merger integration and then the 10,000 new site builds that they have to build organically from the ground up, they want to be set to be at, they will be set to be at 85,000 sites at the end of this, once it's fully completed. So they have 65,000 macros on air now. They gain about between a number of 10 to 13,000 Sprint Keep sites, which will put them at, roughly approximately 75,000. Let's just call it that. They'll go from 65 to 75, and then the 10,000 that they build from the ground up, that'll bring them to that 85,000, give or take. Might be a little more, might be a little less at the end of it. The firms are reporting that as it stands now, At&T is operating 80,000 macros on air. And the reason that kind of looks lopsided is because Verizon has roaming agreements with some regional carriers where they operate the network assets. They have Verizon Spectrum, but that company is running the tower sites and everything. So from what I was being told is Verizon does not include those sites on the totals. So Verizon likely does have a much larger footprint beyond that 68,000, but it's not all native. But some people have told me they've been in these areas and it's really not that difference of an experience. It's almost like your regular Verizon customer. I'm also being told it doesn't even signal that you are roaming in these areas. It's just a smooth, flawless transition apparently. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is too, and that's another reason why this is saying spending splurge. Verizon's going to have to spend a lot of money to get to where AT&T is, for example. So AT&T with FirstNet started a all-out one-touch upgrade. So their sites likely are more modernized versus Verizon. Verizon, I'm being told, has a lot of Band 13 sites out there. Even some of the sites that did get on board to getting Band 4 and 13 are outdated. The panels are older. The radios are older. The baseband unit is older. All that stuff is going to have to get ripped out. It's going to have to get ripped out and replaced. They're going to have to go to a single RAN. They're going to need more efficient, newer radios, newer panels, especially with C-band. So that's something that Verizon's going to have to scale, and that's going to take them some time. It's going to take them some time and a massive investment. AT&T sites, from what I'm being told, they're ready now. They're going to likely be a very similar rollout to T-Mobile. They're just going to have to lay over C-band, and then the baseband units are likely ready. Yeah, they'll have to make a few tweaks on the software, you know, the network cards and all that stuff. But other than that, AT&T's network is ready. Other than the densification, which I'll speak on here in a little, the network is ready. It's modern. So they just go to the site, they put the panels, they add the radios. Well, the C-band panels will likely have the radios built in, and they just, you know, they fully hook it up, the cables and everything, and then they get it integrated into the network. And other than that, it's a done deal. So it'll be very, very quick. It'll be very quickly. As to where Verizon, some of the sites that they have to fully rip and replace, they'll have to spend 2 to 3 weeks at these sites fully ripping and replacing them. So they're going to kind of do what Sprint did during Network Vision, is that all sites, likely not, but a good amount of those sites, they're going to have to spend a couple of weeks fully modernizing these sites. That's going to take some time. So, like I said, other than the densification, AT&T is right there with its sites being the most modernized across the U.S. Now with the densification plans, as I mentioned, AT&T has 80,000, according to a firm, 80,000 macros on air. I'm being told, I'm hearing some rumors that AT&T has a very, very, very strong plan. They're looking to add about between 5,300 to 5,500 sites this year. The same plan is still in place, as I mentioned in previous videos. They want to be non-reliant on roaming starting next year. They want no more roaming partners. They want to be 100% native, which I got no problem with that. If your investments are showing proof, you're growing, you want to be all native, so be it. You know, the HSPA shutdown is coming. You got to move on these sites quick. You got to add them in, and they're doing just that. I think they remain at the volume of the 5,000+ macros this year. Next year, I think it does slow down a little bit the year after, and they are set to receive less and less and less reimbursement from the government. So at some point, they're going to have to continue fully funding that on their own, which I think they will do. But I think the densification is going to start shifting away from rural. I think that has taken a little priority. Well, actually a lot of priority because of FirstNet. But eventually they start shifting the densification towards suburban and urban markets, the metro areas. And I think some people are telling me this confidently. I think AT&T does surpass Verizon and T-Mobile on densification within the next 5 years. I believe that as well. I think that's happening. AT&T arguably had the best 3G network back then. I know they didn't vocally talk about it. They were very quiet on that, but a lot of people and some reports have been backing up that AT&T arguably had the best third-party network. I mean, 3G network. And that goes now for LTE too. We're very late in the LTE cycle, and all of a sudden, when everybody's moving to 5G and DSS is coming on air, here comes AT&T. They now are gaining, I mean, from what I've seen recently, they're gaining some insane traction on LTE speeds. Insane. I mean, Ookla is showing them boosting LTE speeds that we should have seen 3 years ago. I mean, On their 5G network, in a lot of these pockets, man, we're seeing speeds of 2, 3, 4, 500 megabits per second continuously, especially now that the CRAN are coming out at more scale. So again, AT&T is going to be massive in the future. They're going to be massive. I think they have to do it because of FirstNet. They want to maintain that contract. I know there are still some issues right now with the network. There are some indoor solutions that are needed. But as they densify and they add more macros and they tighten that grid, a lot of those indoor issues will go away. Will they still need DAS systems inside of malls and bigger hospitals? Yes. But, you know, inside of a dollar store or a smaller store like a Walgreens, you shouldn't need an indoor solution if you have a macro nearby. I still have issues here every now and then dropping to HSPA in some of these stores because there isn't a macro nearby. So as they tighten that grid and they add more CRAN, I do predict that to completely go away. And the engineers will have to figure that out as well. So it'll be very, very interesting to end this video. I think T-Mobile is off to the races. I do believe they have the leadership on that. I give that to them. I applaud them. They've been building those dual radios, 5G LTE, since 2017. They're very quickly moving on 2.5, and you know they've done the same thing. They readied the network years prior, so they took a risk on that, and now 2.5 is merely a layover, and it's pretty much done with the upgrade. It's taken them not even a full day. I speak with some of the, there is a locally family-owned tower climbing crew here locally. I speak with them every so often. They're telling me it takes them 2 to 3 hours to get these panels up on the site. And then, yeah, they have to return, you know, a couple of days after to do a couple of more things. But to initially get the panels on the site, it doesn't take that much. You know, if there's additional support needed or they need to add some other things on there, then yeah, they might need a day or two. But other than that, within a full 7 days, they could have that site fully integrated and ready to be turned on the network. So that's very impressive. I think Verizon will be at that same pace, but I think their network spend is going to be insane. They're going to have to spend a lot of money just to catch everybody on rural modernization. Then they admitted they have to tighten their grid in rural America by rolling out 2,000 sites specifically for rural. They're not even pushing those sites into the urban suburban markets. So there are still some, just to clarify this again, there are still some macros that have been in the pipeline that are being added now. So you usually pre-plan macros 2 to 3 years prior. Some of those have been approved and are being added now. So you're still going to see some macros being added, but they're not adding any new macros, if you get what I'm saying. So right now they're not filing 20 macros to be added 2 years from now. They're just filling in what they added to the plan 2 years ago. So to kind of give you guys an idea on that. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Again, I think the competition is heating up more so even than what we're seeing on the surface. I think behind closed doors, all the companies are brainstorming, calling companies for third-party deals. Verizon already actively admitted publicly that they are doing so and that they will continue doing so. So just keep that in mind. I know this was a longer video. I just wanted to get that out there to get you guys' perspective, to give you guys more info and my take on it. So if you have been on the channel or you're new to the channel and you have not yet liked, shared, subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when I do upload content. Make sure to follow the social media outlets for more updates and interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.